cut you off real quick. Let's touch on the playoffs real quick. So this isn't updated. We're on
Yeah,
Monday
let's
night
touch
here.
on it, Trey.
Yeah.
As long as that's appropriate to touch on it, let's talk about it.
Yeah, hey, so we got Georgia, Alabama, Oregon.
Pornhub.com is our main sponsor.
Thanks. Oregon 38-7. Oregon gets shellacked by Utah. A lot of people were calling that Ohio State. So here's my question: does Ohio State move past Alabama with their impressive win? Because Alabama did have a struggle bus win with Arkansas, who was
I'm gonna give you my
go ahead and give your force
right now. I'll give you my expert opinion. Georgia clearly the number one team. Okay, Ohio State with their performance and Alabama struggling against Arkansas, who Georgia put a beat down on. Okay, and here's the other thing, College Football Committee. Even though you didn't want to put Michigan State in front of Michigan, don't matter now after the beatdown they received and the fact that Oregon lost. Ohio State should be number 2 team. Alabama should be number 3. Right. And I think Cincinnati should be 4. But if they really just want to continue to fuck with Cincinnati, which is kind of fun to watch, they'll put in Michigan at number 4, and then after Saturday's game, it won't matter.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think to me right. I mean, I think that's right on the order. To me, the interesting thing is like with that loss to Oregon, it's kind of interesting because, there's a good chance that pretty much guaranteed a 2-loss Bama team still gets into the playoffs, right?
No.
It's possible.
No.
Here's the thing I'll say. Here's what I'll say.
You don't want it, Trey, but I think they're one of the 4 best teams.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you this. This is an important question. Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
What do you I'll give you my opinion on it, but I want to ask you boys both this question, okay? I think they'll put in a 2-loss team who has 2 very close losses before they put in a 1-loss team who just gets their ass kicked. Because so far, the College Football Committee hasn't done either one of those. Okay, if you just get the doors blown off, and we'll call it, by 25 or more, even if it's just one single loss, they don't put you in. Because, by the way, Ohio State, we received one of those from Purdue one year and Iowa another year. But if you have, I think they're more likely to put in a 2-loss team. If they have no other choices with 2 close losses than putting in one with
all right, can I tell you what I think? I like it. Here's what's going to happen. My opinion. Sean and I argue. I'll get heated on this. Georgia won. If they beat them by 2, 3, 1, 10 would be great. Beat Alabama. Alabama's out, drops to 5.
So regardless of whether or not it's by a point or 30 points, Alabama's out.
Exactly. Let's just hold on a second. I don't ever talk much. Hey, Reese Davis taking control here. All right, Oregon's out. I know this isn't updated. Ohio State, let's say, take care of business. They're in. Cincinnati moves up 4, right? The team to watch, and you don't want to hear.
No, they move up to 3.
Yeah, I'm telling you, team to watch. Let's fast forward 2 weeks. Let's say Hayes in the barn, SEC championship game. Georgia won. Alabama's out 2. Ohio State wins, right?
No.
The team to watch on the back end. Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Their only loss is to Cincinnati. So they have a chance to slide in the back door. Everybody loves them. I know they didn't win their conference. I don't really like them. They always like them. And the other team to watch is Oklahoma State, who always loses to Oklahoma. But if they beat them in Bedlam and win out, they've only given up 24 points once. They had a really close loss to Iowa State. I know it was a bad loss, but it was on the road. So the 2 teams that could get in the back door past Alabama, 2 losses, 2-loss team has never gotten in. Alabama has had struggle wins this year. LSU, non-ranked, beat by 6. Arkansas, who's not ranked, they only beat by 7. A terrible Florida team by 3. This is a shell of himself. 2-loss Alabama gets left out this year. So that's my thoughts. Is the 2 teams to watch in the back door are Notre Dame and Oklahoma State.
Well, Trey, I agree with that. Can you answer my fucking question first, though?
Yeah, go ahead.
2-loss or a 1-loss team with a big loss. Who will be the one that we let in first?
I think Notre Dame.
Who's in number 4 if Alabama loses?
Notre Dame or Oklahoma State, depending on what they do.
They would jump Cincinnati.
No, Cincinnati will be 3 because they'll be 4 and then they'll go through. I'm talking about that 4 spot. If Alabama gets knocked back to 5. Another thing is to watch tomorrow when it happens. If Alabama moves back to 3, they're losing a little bit of their mojo. So that's why they can get knocked. I mean, and Cincinnati's right behind them. If they have 2 losses, they're going to get knocked back. Don't you agree? Now, if they're still number 2, that gives them a chance of this 2 loss, but I just don't see it.
Yeah,
To me, the problem with all of this is the fact that Cincinnati, right? If they're a great team, they're not rolling around with.
That was a good win though against a good SMU team. That was impressive. They beat them by like 40, and they were 8-2. So that was like a really good. And they're probably
SMU.
I know, but I'm
SMU.
saying,
Who cares? I mean, Trey, it's not like they beat a top 10 team.
I know.
They beat a nobody.
Actually, they did beat a top 10 team. Is Notre Dame's going to move up? That's their big win. And Notre Dame's actually leveraged.
They got one big win.
I know, but it is a top 10 win. Don't you think, Scott, looking at it?
Yeah. Now, Sean, who is your top 4 right now, and how do you see things playing out?
Yeah, what's your top 4, Sean? Go ahead.
I mean, obviously, the top 2 we don't need to worry about, right? I mean, it's the 2 teams we talk about most on this program is 1 and 2. To me, at number 3, I have Alabama. At number 4, I actually have Oklahoma State at the moment.
I like it. Sliding in the back.
But
hey, you got the mullet.
But
right.
You know,
right, Sean,
at that point, what you have to do though is, you know, Oklahoma State.
Who's your 5 and 6?
Yeah, who's your 5 and 6?
Who's your 5 and 6?
5 is Cincinnati.
All right.
6 is Oklahoma.
Over Michigan.
Oklahoma got smoked by. Look at them way down here. Oklahoma got smoked by Baylor. They're out. You got them way down there.
Dude, they have 1 loss though.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if they win their conference,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. How
now,
about
John? I'm all for it. So I think you hate Michigan more than I do. Then.
I mean, yeah, they're a fucking joke. I mean, like it's literally they should call it the Joke Bowl and put Cincinnati and Michigan in it.
All right, how about this, Sean? If let's say fast forward 2 weeks, if Alabama loses, let's say by 10-14 to Georgia, or 3 or 1, they have 2 losses. They still get in at 4.
Here's my question, guys. Like top 3, right? Ohio State, Georgia. Don't worry about the order, right? Are you honestly telling me you think that Alabama would lose or is a worse team than Cincinnati, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Michigan, Notre Dame?
They got 2 losses, and they didn't win.
I will say this, Sean. I think we still have to see how everything plays out. We still have to see everything plays out, and I hear everything you're saying, but it's got to matter what you do on the field at some point in time. You know, if you're taking if Alabama gets their doors blown off, and Georgia fans, I know you don't want to hear this, but that's what should fucking happen. You should beat Alabama. I'm not saying by 20 points, but you should beat them by double digits. Okay, and you want to say it never happens. As much as I hate Clemson, Clemson took it to them back when they won their last national title. Was that 2018? They won the game 48-14. I could see something like that happen. We'll get into that next week. But that if they lose like that and get the doors blown off, forget about it. If you're talking about if it's a very close loss and everything else, and then they go and you're doing that versus Cincinnati, you have a real argument, you know.
Yeah,
because I don't see them losing to Auburn this week. But if they struggle like they did against Arkansas,
backup quarterback.
How much did Georgia beat Arkansas by?
34-0, I think. We were at the game, and they only beat them by 7. Bama struggle bus.
How about we do this hypo? Let's say that Alabama loses to Georgia, Oklahoma State loses to Oklahoma. I guess Cincinnati stays where they stay. You're telling me that like you're going to put in Cincinnati or Oklahoma over Alabama?
Actually, you're going to put in Notre Dame sliding in the back door.
Notre Dame, you're really going to put them in over Alabama?
Yeah, because
we all know who the better Trey. You're only saying that because you're scared to play Bama twice.
I don't want to play them twice yet. I want to cut them off one time. They don't deserve it.
That's the only reason you're saying that. If you're objective in your heart, Trey, in your Southern Baptist, choir singing, Forrest Gump clapping ass, knows Alabama is one of the best 4 teams in college football.
Not with 2 losses.
Yeah, they are.
Feel like do you want to play them twice, Sean, with our record?
Yeah, honestly, I really do.
Play them twice?
I really do, and I want to beat them twice because I am absolutely excited to figure out what the next boogeyman for you is going to be once we get over the Alabama hurdle.
Play them one time. The only reason I'd want to play them twice, and here's my thing. If they play Ohio State at 2 and 3, if they somehow slip in there and they beat Ohio State, because Ohio
I don't
State's
think you're going to beat Ohio State, though.
Ohio State's going to keep us up at night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, they
here's
are. Those are the two best teams.
Yeah, those are right now. I think they're the two best teams. I will still give. I have no issue with Ohio State where they are ranked in the playoffs. I have no issue whatsoever. Georgia had because also, hey, you're undefeated, and the way they played. And the thing that concerns me the most, and we'll get into this more the weeks down the road, is that Georgia D line. I'll take our Ohio State's wide receivers versus your secondary, but if we don't have time to throw it, that scares me. Now, do we have some studs in our offensive line? We do. Are they going to play up to their ability? I hope. Is it still enough? We'll find out. Now, the only other comment, and then we'll talk just a little bit about the upcoming Heisman before we wrap it up here, is the only thing I'd say with Oregon's big loss, they're out. And Vegas hated Oregon. They still only give them like a 3% chance of making the playoff. That's before they even played versus Utah and got blown out. The only thing I'll say to Mario Cristobal is if you leave and you go back to Miami, if that job was open, just ask Willie Taggart if that was the right move when he left from Oregon after 1 year went out to Florida State and was there 2 years or something. The grass is not always greener. You know what I mean? That was my other comment, tying that into what Oregon not being in the playoffs anymore and getting all that Nike money. If you really want to move and leave Oregon that much to go back to Florida,